Welcome, Mr. Shukla. Thank you so much for taking our time and talking to us about NFT. NFT, as you know, is a brand new topic in some senses, which most people don't know much about. And the idea behind this conversation today was so that our viewers and people who like to watch BW conversations can get to know a little bit more about NFT, how they can sort of navigate this area. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about the basic premise of, say, cryptocurrencies and NFT.
First of all, thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be talking to you. Now, coming to your question, the basic premise of cryptocurrencies and non-fungible tokens, or NFT as they are referred to as, there is a similarity, but yet there are differences. Similarity because both of them use blockchain as a technology. So that means they would in NFT also declare ownership and the traceability can be established. But how they are different is one, let's say, what is a cryptocurrency right now? Let's say Bitcoin as an example. One Bitcoin can be traded with another Bitcoin, right? But when we talk about non-fungible tokens, as the name itself suggests, one NFT cannot be traded with another NFT. Technically, why it is not possible? Because there is an additional digital signature which typically does not exist in a Bitcoin, is embedded into any NFT. So one NFT is not equal to another NFT, and which is why it is not tradable. And then think of it like a digital asset, and which is where you would see a lot of attraction of this, or a lot of embracement of NFTs happening by the artists, where a digital art, a music tune, whether a song or in fact an image or picture can be converted into a digital asset, which is an NFT, and be sold in the marketplace out there. And all of them can get the unique valuation, depends upon the bidder. Whoever is the highest bidder can get the ownership of that NFT. Recently, we all heard in the month of March, I think, Beeple's art, which was sold for about 69 million USD. And I don't know how many of you know that the current owner of that art is an Indian. He is from Tamil Nadu, and he owns that prized possession. So how it works is it's a digital asset that you own in the form of NFT, and you can look at the future of it, where your real world, like any certificate, it could be any policy certificate, it could be a real estate contract, rights, etc. They can all be also converted into an NFT, and you can restore them. You can consider them as a prized possession as well, because it also has the feature of blockchain as a technology. So that is how Bitcoin and NFTs are different. NFT is a digital asset, while Bitcoin is a currency.
So now, right, I understand that. Now, tell me something. When you say that an NFT cannot be traded for another, say, a Bitcoin, it has to be, it's that same sort of currency that you're trading in regards to NFT. So does that mean the value of my asset, whatever I'm holding in terms of NFT, is only good till that whatever is there on the exchange, or the exchange has sort of determined the value of that, whatever that value might be? But because I'm playing only in that field, that means whatever I'm holding, the value of it will be determined by the people who've come together on that platform or have created that exchange. Is that correct? Is that...
No, first of all, I think we should dissociate, or we should stop linking a Bitcoin with NFT, because the moment we link NFT with a Bitcoin, we will be tending to compare two dissimilar things, and they're not similar. So therefore, I think let's keep the currency conversation aside. That is totally a Bitcoin conversation, not the NFT conversation. As I said, NFT is a digital asset, right? So the way its value goes up is when you're putting it out in a comparative bidding market, and I give you an example of an artwork, or let's say a music tune, or let's say a song. You put it out in the marketplace, and the bidders, whoever places the highest bid, can become the owner of that NFT. In fact, I wanted to highlight this, that even a tweet can also be converted into an NFT. So what I'm saying is that it is a prized possession, very similar to collectibles. Okay, I think we should link it to how collectibles in physical world are, as opposed to a currency in the physical world. And that will be the right place to associate NFTs with.
So can you tell me what would be for a creative person, since we've taken examples also and spoken so much about artists, let's take the example of artists only. What would be, for a creative person, what are the key advantages of being on a platform like this, on being on NFT as opposed to being in the real sort of physical world?
Okay. See, the way I look at it, for the artist community, it is going to be a paradigm shift. Of course, there is going to be an evolution which is going to take place both from the adoption as well as the evolution of platform as well. Why I'm saying that it is going to be a paradigm shift, because artists can sell their creation in the form of NFT without having to be dependent on an intermediary, without having to look out for doing the let's say physical branding, or let's say in case it is an artwork, figuring out where the physical gallery is going to be, where they're going to be putting their all the artworks, and then calling people. They come and then physically, they sell it off, and then the transaction happens. Rather, this is going to be a digital platform for them, where without having to ship, or without having to be to go through the pain of the physical artwork, here only NFT, which has been converted, which is a converted form of an artwork, can be sold in the marketplace. And those who are quite enthusiastic and are looking at revolutionary means to attract the attention and value of their artwork can of course choose this. So this provides them with an open, I would say, platform for that. And since it is a built on blockchain, the origin of a digital creation can be traced forever. When somebody buys an NFT, they buy a unique certification of ownership, which is well stored and also determined in the blockchain. And just like the pride of owning a collectible, like I mentioned earlier too, the buyers are drawn for the same sense of pride of ownership. Having said that, the new technology buzz, this is also evolving, and we also need to wait and watch how it unfolds in the future as well.
Can it be traded in terms of real money? Because I understand that you pay a certain sum of what is considered real money right now to register an artwork. So now when I have NFT, can I take it out and change it into money and use that?
I haven't seen or haven't come across any such example where NFT has been traded into a real money as such. However, there and then bitcoins. Let's say I'm just taking a digression for a moment, and then I'll come back to NFT again. Even in the Bitcoin, the traded money, the physical money thing comes into the picture, and how is when the miners, and then you know that Bitcoin somebody has to mine it, and then a lot of miners continue to make an effort to mine the Bitcoin. They put in some effort, and they consume a lot of the expenses, and then one of the critical expenses that they consume is of electricity bills, right? So what they do is they trade these Bitcoins, convert them into the physical cash. It could be dollar, Indian currency, pound, euros, etc., and that they use to put out these expenses. But that is for Bitcoin. As I said, NFT, as of now, it is a digital asset, similar to collectible. Unless people go and then really are in need of money, where they need a physical cash for their day-to-day work or something like that. Examples of it getting converted have not come across yet. And secondly, I do not think so there is any exchange which has been set up yet to be able to convert that NFT into a physical currency.
So basically, in other words, at the moment where we stand is that if I get an artwork, an NFT artwork, I can trade it with you for something that you have probably, which is an NFT artwork, or not, or just be.
Absolutely, you got it right. Yes.
I'm not going to go into the real money and stuff like that.
Yes.
All right. So now we've understood what it means and how it's useful for the creative community. Can we talk a little bit about the pitfalls? Because, of late, there was this article that I was reading about somebody who got hacked. His wallet got hacked. And how does that happen? Because wasn't the basic premise of all of this blockchain? And the whole idea was that blockchain is secure. Now, when we're working with that, and then you read something like somebody's wallet gets hacked, his NFT was, all of it was moved out. And he said that, I could see where it had gone. I could see the other owners of it, but there's nothing I could do about it because, the platform is wired in a way where it assumes that I'd given permission for it to be moved to the other person. So how does this happen?
All right. So, see, we have to separate out two things here. You mentioned the word wallet, which is there in the marketplace, and then NFT, which is built on blockchain as a technology. It is not that blockchain, whenever these hacking attempts have been reported, or some artists have come and then said that their artwork got stolen, or and some artists in fact went to an extent where they logged their social media accounts only to allow their followers to see their content and creation. And in fact, it can happen for the tweets also, which we just talked about a while ago in our conversation. Tweets can be stolen and then turned into NFT. And imagine if you ever get to know that something that you tweeted a few years back, like a happy and very intimate moment with your family, has ended up being converted into an NFT and then being sold in the marketplace. It could be really frustrating and disappointing for you. For you. Now here, the marketplace wallet, that is where the question comes, right? So platforms need to have a thorough vetting process before any artwork is tokenized or converted into any NFT, and mechanism to place the right level of protection and for the original creation, and also the rights of original creator or the content need to be put in place. I think right now, this use of NFT and the conversion of any digital asset or the artwork or the music tune, a song, etc., or tweet, or example that we discussed earlier, it has not been enterprised yet fully, right? It is still at a individual level, or maybe some very fragmented level. Once it gets enterprised, and enterprises start to explore NFTs more, I think more governance structure and also more cyber security and privacy related aspects will start evolving, and that would provide the right protection for the creator, originator, and also things related to copyright or intellectual property rights also will get protected therefore.
Yeah, because right now I think it's a bit, either because it's in the gray area, so it's a bit like people are not very certain about what's going on.
Yes.
So, my last question to you, what is the future? Do you see this becoming more mainstream now in terms of, for the creative community?
We'll have to really look at it from multiple aspects. One, and then this is something that I would also touch upon, which is where I think more work from the fraternity also may be required. When I say fraternity, the technology fraternity, and also policy advocates around it. If you really look at blockchain as a technology and cryptocurrency, and there is a lot of conversation which is happening around carbon footprint, right? Energy consumption around it, and which is where the concepts of proof of work versus proof of stake, which is coming into picture. In proof of work, typically the consumption of electricity is very high, and I was reading an article which said in a day, the proof of work way of mining actually results into 1.5 times, slightly more than that, perhaps, the household electricity in a US household. So which is where the concerns around energy and carbon footprint are also coming in, and then we're looking to have the alternates in terms of how we can really address this concern around carbon footprint. So there is another method which has come into picture, which is proof of stake, where it is not competition based, it is not as energy consuming, it is not as electricity consuming as the proof of work is. Uh, and there are certain currencies, cryptocurrencies, which have already started making use of it, like Peer Coin, Black Coin, and I think Shadow Coin. These three I'm aware of, they where it is already happening, but is still in a very nascent stage. While Bitcoin has, gone to a very different strata, and then there's a lot of acceptance and evolution which has happened there, and that still uses the proof of work as a concept. But I think more and more the use cases around proof of stake start coming in. Perhaps I'm saying the shift would happen from proof of work to proof of stake, and that will also address the issues in relation to the carbon footprint. So I think that is going to be one of the areas where the overall adoption and embracement of this entire technology is going to take place, where NFT also is using it as a fundamental or backbone, so to say. Second is, I think, is still, I think it took us a lot of time in India in particular, if I have to say, after in 2018 November, when demonetization or that particular guidance had come from the government of India, for people to unlearn use of physical currency and start using the digital currency or digital modes of transaction, whether it was wallets, whether it was bank to bank transaction, etc. We are still getting there. Are we completely there? No. I'm saying so primarily in the context of India as a geography, but we're still getting there. As far as adoption of NFT is concerned, I think globally it is still not got to that stage where, forget one country, the overall globe has started using it to an extent where others can also learn and then see an example and start leveraging it. I think more adoption will happen when the more use cases get established, and some of the concerns related to carbon, cyber security, etc., also get addressed in more holistic manner. I think that is when we'll see more adoption coming in. And then while we see very randomly two or three positive news coming, where Beeple was one of them, then CEO of Twitter, whose tweet got sold through NFT, was the other example. And there were two or three more, which I'm not able to recollect right now. But there are some negative news which are also coming, and rightly so, because there are concerns, valid concerns for energy, for cybersecurity, etc. I think, like I mentioned earlier, when the enterprise aspects of exploration or adoption of NFT is addressed, I think more structures will evolve, more governance will evolve, and then people will not have hesitation in going ahead and start using it also. And any this kind of digital asset or any this kind of platform, I think masses will come to make use of it only when there are enterprises who have already started to use of it, and which is where I would go back to my previous point. Once the enterprises start using it, or they start exploring it more, I think that is when the cusp of NFT to take to the next level will come.
Right. So this has been very informative and helpful, and this has been our first conversation really on NFT. So we'll encourage the viewers to write into us and talk to us, tell us what you want Gaurav to answer for you, because he'll be happy. We'll do another segment with him, and we can take your questions. You all can send us your questions, and we can put them up to the expert, and he will be happy to answer that. And thank you, Mr. Shukla, for your time.
Thanks, Jyotsna. Thank you for having me here. Really a pleasure.